Perfect. How's it going? Let's just make sure I've got things set up all right. Oh dear. Chat's about exploiting already. We'll have no exploiting today. Could someone, I'm just already sitting in chat. Could somebody point me towards where they've said they're gonna wipe? They're gonna wipe credits, as well as what they've already mentioned about hangars, ships, items. Because, you know, it just, I mean, it makes a clicky thumbnail for sure, but it's, I mean, CIG have said a couple of times about the impact of exploits on sort of and how they view. I think they just sort of find it sad, to be honest. I don't think they, yeah, I remember some vague sort of like one of the Star Citizen lives. I think it was Richard Thaler. I might have got that wrong. Tyra. I think he was basically saying like, I'm gonna paraphrase, but it was along the lines of like, if people want to be losers and exploit cash and ruin their own game, then they can do that. Like, what difference does it really make? Sorry, I'm just catching up on Snowfoot's comment because I went and rescued him today, but then I had to very quickly return to work because I was coming to the end of my lunch break. And apparently I yeeted him off the Bikini Point station, as I did. I thought you were out of the ship, mate. I mean, I found it a little bit weird because the ship was, my Pisces was just hanging in mid-air at that time. Got a random ride along. Yeah. So Bert's point there summarizes it up like exactly right for me, and it's why, you know, I would be incredibly surprised. Like, CIG don't wipe just because they want to take your money. They usually wipe because there's some sort of requirement in whatever system they're putting in. Like cargo refactor pairs were huge system systemic changes, system changes, and they required resetting the database. They didn't do it because, you know, they were annoyed at how much cash you had. Maybe they do like gathering more data on the early game experience, like people grinding and a wipe every now and again. I mean, look, I'm heading back out in my prospector because I want to make some money. So maybe it does push people like that, but I just don't think they care that much about the people, because the people who exploited this time, right? They're just going to find the next exploit in 318.1, and they'll be back to having 100 million credits. But like, what about Johnny Good Guy, who, you know, just he's been grinding, made a few million credits because he had a little bit of time off work. Yeah, I think just the risk of alienating people, it's too high. So screw the exploiters, let them have their credits, fix the bug. Yeah, there we go. That was a great question. Let's get back onto that. I think that's enough about exploiters. I don't think there will be a wipe to cache in 3.18 spot 1. I think it would alienate too many good people. But let's talk mining. Yay! We don't just have to talk mining, by the way. We can talk all things Star Citizen, and maybe some things beyond. But as a miner, do I prefer to solo a prospector or a mole? Generally speaking, a mole, because I'm Argo till I die. I love orange, and Argo make the best big orange ships in Star Citizen. I think everybody can agree on that point. But recently, I have been liking the prospector more than I previously did. And one of the things I do like about it is that with the potential for a wipe coming in, I think it's good to not get those massive refinery jobs stacking. 32 SCU in a prospector will be done with Ferrin Exchange in a matter of hours. Just meaning I'm just keeping down the amount of time I spend. Well, I actually even need these on, I've realised. Yeah, so just reducing down the amount of time I spend refining, so that I can run it to the TDD a bit more often. Right, I will come back to another question, but I'll just go jump ahead to B. If I am more than happy to spitball on any questions you want to ask. If you could chuck question in there, it just helps. I'm still getting my eyes used to the whole, keeping track of a stream, all that sort of jazz. But B's just asking, what's the sort of profitability benefit basically of refining your mining goods? It's pretty huge, B. So it's basically, it doubles the value of anything that you refine. So I can sell. We'll remind me, and I'll come back and show you quickly when we get back to the refinery. Hopefully, having found some quant, I'll show you what I can sell it to directly to the refinery as ore for. But it's about 44 credits a unit for Quantanium raw. If I refine that into Quantanium, refined Quantanium, I guess, then it will be worth 88 if I transport it to a TDD. That said, that's more time investment. It's more time investment in terms of I've got to chuck it in a cargo ship and run it. But it's not as much investment in terms of. A lot of people say but the refining takes time. It's yes, but that's AFK time. It's kind of you go to sleep, you go to work, your refining job keeps going. Hey, Doctor, how you doing, mate? Yeah, sorry, James. That was the question I was coming back to. So just asking, in 3.18, is the Lancet Surge Stampede still good for cracking big quant rocks? Yes, absolutely. Still does work. I am just experimenting, though, this evening with. So one of the things I've noticed in 3.18 is that it seems a little bit more erratic, instability is a bit higher, almost maybe as a factor. Maybe that's just me being out of practice mining. Oh, sorry, just to notice, I took all the advice from last stream, and I've even got some water for my croaky voice. So yeah, I'm running with Surge, Brant, and an FLTRXL module on my prospector just to maximize the amount of quant as opposed to dirt we pick up. But what I am experimenting with a bit more is the mining gadgets. That's partly just as I'm just interested to see a slightly different way to do it than Surge Stampede. Also, maybe part of me is just do I want to blow myself up constantly? I mean, you guys have seen me die a lot of times on stream, so I'm just wondering if maybe there's a good sort of bit of information to put in here about about mining gadgets. I've got a few bore maxes which reduce the resistance by 75%. I'm quite interested to find some big quant rocks and see sort of how many we have to slap on them to just safely crack a rock. So what we've done there is we've come straight down on wherever it was I ended up at, and what that does is it does put you up quite high. So we're sort of 17.8 kilometers off the deck because we effectively just went straight down at the planet. So try and see if I can oh the first 30k of the day. I was wondering why that didn't work. That's all right. But yeah, gadgets are a bit of a pain because you do have to get out of the ship. That is well, quite right, sir. But on the other hand, I'm also looking at them because I'm interested in just maybe researching them a little bit more for org ops, that sort of thing. Mentioned the TDD. Does the place matter where you sell it? No, same price. There's some tiny like supply demand fluctuations in prices. Yeah, that was a bit of a 30k speed run. I don't know. I've had 30ks where literally I've logged into the bed and then I've been like, I can't get out of this bed, and then I've 30k'd. So I don't think that's going to approach 30k speed run territory. That's one of those just annoying ones though, where you're gonna be you just got there, just got to Lyria, and then you got to do that whole thing again. Like, it's almost better if you just 30k straight in your bed, right? I'm just going back a little bit. What's the max size rock you can do with a rented prospector? Honestly, I don't even know. I mean, it would depend on like what type of rock, because not all, the constituent parts affect resistance, and resistance is really big. It's basically like a 3-part equation of resistance, laser power, and mass. So some types of material you might be able to crack a 5k mass rock with an arbor laser, other types not so much. But the big downside with the arbor laser is just, it's rubbish, let's face it. Like, very little in the way of buffs compared with like a lancet, minus 75% to instability and resistance is it is quite hard to mine with. Like, you certainly wouldn't be going after Quantanium. Quantanium rocks just are not mineable with an arbor laser. Wow, high percentage Quantanium rocks, I should probably say that, because I'm absolutely sure you could crack a 2% quant rock with an arbor laser. But could and should are two different things. I'll be really interested with the mining changes. Be really interested to see whether we get into a place where maybe the rental prospector can make decent profit. I think the key with the rental prospector is the rental prospector needs to make slightly more profit than a rental cutlass and rock, for me. And conservatively, that's about 150k an hour. Like, if you know what you're doing, Hadanite mining, if you're in the right spots, if you're focusing Hadanite, you can probably do 200k an hour in a cutlass rock. And yeah, that would mean that sort of at least the prospector needs to be sort of comparable with that, if that makes sense. Whereas right now the rental prospector is nowhere near that, and you're paying slightly more, if I'm not mistaken, to rent a rental prospector. Yeah, you might be able to do that. That would be quite funny as well. Particularly when you realise you like slipped into the green and then it starts shooting up and you have to quickly get back into your prospector to turn the laser down. I'd pay to see that. You know, AUEC. I'd still pay. Hey Arthur's there. How you doing, man? How much do I have to grind for the Carrack? Well, there are two answers to that. I'm gonna slightly give up faith on this game and do it. I think I should have done a relog. So I grind in the last patch. I sort of like I took things pretty easy. I didn't ever worry too much about, you know, getting to a certain amount of money. What I did find was, because we had all of those, we had loads of dynamic events to keep things fresh, right? Which was cool, very cool. But what I did find was, like, Ninetales lockdown. Like, at one point during Ninetales lockdown, I was just like, yeah, you know what, I should get some cash, and I pretty much made that enough cash for that Carrack in Ninetales lockdown. Just running C2s of medical supplies. I was doing a thing where, you know, it was really hard to, so I would run sort of, I had like 5 Hercules at that time due to like subscriber sort of ships of the month, that sort of thing. So I had like 5 Hercules, a couple of other bigger cargo ships or with decent capacity, and then like while everybody else was trying to get to the blockaded station, I was using that time to just fill up all of my Hercs and take them to whichever station I thought was going to be next in the rotation. And then each time the Ninetales lockdown came up, I just logged in and sold all of my stuff, which was already at that one station, and then worried about filling them to go to the next. So I pretty much made a Carrack that week. That was good. But then the second answer to that is that I worked a certain number of hours in real life, and I decided to treat, after making that Carrack video, I decided, you know what, I want one of these in my hangar. I treat myself. So yeah, it's a mix. Yeah, Brent, we'll get some more. There we go, back in good. We'll get some more mining events and mining and salvage and all that good stuff. I tend to call those combined ops because it's all about actually learning to work together, you know. Let's just stand around. Star Citizen is being Star Citizen. Can I leave the bedroom? All right, this might be the 30k speed run, judging by the uncensored chat. Hey Star, how's it going? I feel mildly bad about this though, because like I learned from last week. Last week I was a little bit embarrassed because I realized I wanted to do some mining on stream, and then I realized then I realized I didn't have any ships actually set up to mine, and so for the first hour of the stream or so, it was just, you know, Loud Guns goes on a shopping trip, and I didn't think that was very good. So I thought, you know, this week it's going to be great because I got all my ships set up. I even logged on and made sure I'd got my everything I needed, and then we got hit by a 30k as soon as we hit Lyria. So I can't do anything about that. It's like, that's the thing with Star Citizen. Do the things that you can do to make your gameplay experience more smooth and more fun. And then, you know, the game will do its thing. But if you don't prepare and you don't take responsibility for your own gaming session, then the game will do its thing and you will struggle. Yeah, got a few different ops planned. There are a few different ones. There's sort of the mining mining led stuff, which we've got down pretty well, but there's some stuff we can do to improve that. There's also sort of the, you know, hunting Idrises for salvage. The only downside on that is that right now the Reclaimer is being a bit of a buggy mess. So yeah, it's the fact that like I've been out a couple of times in the Reclaimer, and there are a number of bugs like the elevator one which are perfectly good to work around and stuff, but the one which I can't work around is just after, seems to be roughly the time it takes to make about 40-50 boxes. You know, the lasers just die. They're forever stuck on 0 extraction, so that's been a bit of a pain. That's sort of what's holding up the hunt Idrises for cash at the moment. So why do I have two Auroras? Because Auroras are Chris Roberts' favourite ships. They must be. He's got so many variants of them. This is my entire reason for liking and drinking my tiny cans of Coke, Ravnak. It's so that I look like I have giant hands. Or is it all a mirage? And actually I'm conscious about my already massive hands, so then I've just... it's a bit of Houdini-like misdirection. Yeah, hopefully after the only thing which might give pause for a few of those combined ops is just... well, it was stability. Like I was very pleasantly surprised at the weekend that, you know, we definitely got hit by a number of bugs, but I was prepared for it to just not log in with a party of like 70-80 people. Yeah, I was prepared for it to just go, nah. I mean, the irony that I tried logging in last night with a party of 5 people, and it just wouldn't, it wasn't having it. Oh, thanks, Digital Zero. They're miners' hands. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. I do genuinely go for the mini cans though, because I'm conscious of my sugar intake. That's pretty much it. And I've found that I can trick my brain with just a tiny dose of Coca-Cola. Still love full red Coca-Cola. I'm conscious that I probably shouldn't be drinking, you know, half a litre of it a day. So a lot of the time, all you really want's that first... it's a bit like with cigarettes as well. I know this is gonna sound like complete nonsense to anyone who doesn't or hasn't ever smoked, but yeah, when you do smoke, cigarettes are enjoyable, and I can definitely say that the first drag or the first 2 drags of a cigarette, those are the best ones. Everything else is just the addiction, but that first drag is for you. So, but yeah, we'll definitely, you know, servers seem to be in a much better place now. We've sort of proven that you can get large parties together and they work. Hopefully things will improve as we get 317 spot 1, 318 spot 1. I don't know why I keep saying 317 when I mean 318. And also, like, as well, I mean, there are just a lot of people right now who cannot get into the game. Like, so that's when those sorts of things are concerned, then there will probably be regular, weekly, if not more, big ops. And something else I'd like to try is I'd really like to try trading op. you know, like try convoying with sort of multiple cargo ships, protection, maybe take control with some ground vehicles of certain sites. That's Garrett, that's actually what I'm trying to do. That's kind of my plan. I got my tiny can of Coke. I got my giant flask of water, so I'm giving it a go. And yeah, I do have to say they've got the one thing which is slightly getting me back to the office. Like I work from home like 50-50. But the one thing which is slightly getting me back to the office is they've installed like a fancy like soda water tap. That's some pretty good stuff right there. And if you get the Vimto squash, you can basically just make yourself all the Vimto you want, which is probably defeats a lot of the purpose since that's a ton of sugar. But you know, it's good times. Yeah, just going back to one of the things Andrew was saying actually about sort of the gems like spraying all over the place with rock mining. There's a little sort of bug which I will just show you during this stream if we get to it. If we manage to get to Lyria and not 30k and not explode and find Quantanium rocks. But one of the things which is sort of happening at the moment, because I noticed this from the op at the weekend, like we lost a ton of moles and prospectors, like they kept on blowing up. And initially I put that down to like, you know, excitement. It's just like, you know, maybe we got a lot of new people with teaching, maybe people are just excited to be back out sort of mining again, and maybe like me, they haven't been practicing too hard. Then when they kept on blowing up, I did start to question it, and I noticed there's a bit of a visual bug with the extraction laser. So when you have just finished cracking a rock and you switch over to extraction mode, you can sometimes still actually be in fracturing mode, and then when you go to extract, it blows up in your face and blows up your ship. So which is bad, okay? So what I found works is just cycling it again. So cycle from fracturing mode to extraction mode, back to fracturing, back to extracting, and that seems to consistently work. But particularly in a prospector as well, just like take that opportunity to, you know, back away. Like you don't need to be cracking from right on the right up next. Don't need to be extracting from right up next to the rocks. Right, let's remember we've got a 3400 round to our right, but I just like when even though I've seen that 3400 over there, it was around here somewhere. I just like to give the rest of the stuff I can see from up here a bit of a look. Yeah, 5100. Right. I'm pretty sure 5100. Let's just see. Do quick maths on stream. Not a good idea. Yeah, cool. Okay, 5100 is 3 rocks, but I'm pretty sure when I saw that last time it was more split into 2 patches. So yeah, that's gonna be a double. Hey Everett, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I keep forgetting that I should be encouraging everybody to like streams. All these things I have to remember. I had one of the most disappointing moments. Synthetic Dev was with me, and we were on a server and had found the holy grail of Quantanium patches. It was 200 odd SCU, in a single patch. And yeah, we just got to the point of like I had come back with a mole because we were both in prospectors, and that was the point that the server 30k'd. So after that, I'm pretty easy for 30ks. Right. 15%? Nah. Right. That's going to be the moment I'm going to regret in about half an hour's time when I haven't found anything else. It's quite difficult to you sort of remember back to these moments. It's quite difficult to work out when it's like the first rock you see, whether just stopping and taking 15 SCU is a good deal. Yeah, at the end of the day, that's like more than 100k. Maybe I should have just taken that, but I'm gonna be picky. Hey, no promoting Raid Shadow Legends on my stream. They aren't paying for it. We can talk about Toby Eye Tracker 5 and Predator mounts as much as you like. But no, we're not gonna get that deep into it. Although Silas, you're gonna be very happy with me, or maybe at least moderately happy with me. I have updated the descriptions of both Twitch and YouTube. So there is now all the information of the Discord in the description, and you will also find the links through to Predator mounts and Toby, who we are now working with. I don't know, Benjamin. I actually have a story of a positive 30k. If you play long enough, you will have a positive 30k story. I was doing what I do best and dying in a bunker, and I hit a 30k, and that made me. Alright, that's a ship. Ah, that's probably a bunker. Yeah, so I was dying in a bunker, and I hit a 30k, and then I logged back in, and when I logged back in, I had not very long before I died. But because I died in a station, I kept all my gear, which was very nice. So. Oh, higher better. Yeah, see, 30ks can be good. New deal sponsorship would be good. I could really go for an 890 jump around now. Yeah, I would say to the extent that I have a favorite activity in SC, I would say mining is probably it. And I am very definitely looking forward to the large RSI miner. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it. There's a chance it might threaten my bank balance. Just a chance. But yeah, it's... I do like RSI as well, so I've realised from sort of spending more time with like John and Siler doing all their... You can't spend time with Siler and not spend time in a Connie. That's one of the things I've learned. And it's made me go back and appreciate the Connie a bit more. I do still think it needs a rework. But I do like the RSI aesthetic. And so for them to take that to a mining ship, I think will be really cool. I'm really curious though as to what it's going to be like what its purpose is going to be. And I do wonder personally, like I've seen some people say it's most likely going to be a sort of ground focused miner, whereas just a guess. Just a guess. Could be absolutely anything until they announce it. But I do just wonder whether it will be a mini Orion, and whether they will use the large miner to sort of work out how the Orion is gonna work. So because like I don't think you can release the Orion immediately, because I think it would break the game economy. You know, I'd hop in my Orion, get my crew together, and then we'd probably all have all of the ships in in SC within a couple of sessions, shall we say? So yeah. No, I can definitely see the Twitch chat as well. There's not quite so much of it, but that's because I would imagine most of my audience is on YouTube. Let's try and branch out into Twitch though. Well, I think it's cool that you can. I mean, it basically takes no effort on my part to stream to both or stream to one, like no difference in the effort. So why not? Then you can just let people watch wherever they fancy. No, so yeah, the diamonds are like rock minables. So we're not particularly interested in them. Just for anybody who doesn't mine very much, all I'm doing is basically looking around for RS signatures of. They need to be multiples of 1,700 because that's the multiple of a rock. That's the RS signature of an individual rock, but I need them to be more than 1,700. So 3,400 would be 2 rocks, 5,100 would be 3. It's just a vagary at the moment of the moon that we're on, Lyria. That on Lyria, everything which is 2 rocks together or more, so any form of cluster, is going to be Quantanium. What I am discovering is that I'm far worse at scanning though when I'm also looking across at another screen. so forgive me my terrible attempts at mining. Yeah, Zach, the Orion is the capital class miner. It's a concept ship, so is doing a lot of lifting in that sentence. But yeah, you've got in mining ships, you've got the Prospector, which is small. You've got the Mole, which is the medium, and then you've got the Orion, which is capital. And what they've come out and said is that they're going to make another ship, like, which is basically large, so it's going to be bigger than the Mole, smaller than the Orion. I go for the signature strat overachievers, because by the time I've done that, I've already, so there's one, but I've already read the signature because I've had to get my my scanning mode out anyway. As of 3.18, you can't control your ping angle with anything but your scanning mode. So your scanning mode's already up, so looking for signatures is quicker. But also we could be moving quicker, that's the other thing. Basically, when scanning, you're best off to go as fast in speed terms as you're comfortable going. Faster, cover more ground, more RNG. And we'll keep going out into the sun, because I generally prefer operating in the daylight. I know some people prefer flying around at night. Just a little bit. So that's a signature of 3100. We're just going to stop and take a look at it, but I'll tell you now it's gems. And that's... because, yeah, anything which doesn't fit that 1700 mold, gonna be gems. I believe they're 620 each. So those are what you look for when you're looking for a rock. Yeah. Yeah, so Garrett, I think basically I wonder whether the RSI large miner could be a mini Orion, and one of the things which makes it a mini Orion is that it doesn't have the refinery, because I think the refinery is a really powerful aspect of the Orion. It would be a noticeable step up when you go up to an Orion, because then you've got your refinery all in one. Yeah, I agree, Overachiever. I have never seen a 50% Quantanium rock. One of the things you can also do is, particularly if you're like low flying, you can just visually identify rocks, because Quantanium rocks have a very